Nestled amidst rolling hills, Harmony Creek was a picturesque town that seemed to have been plucked straight out of a storybook. The landscape was a painter's dream, with the hills rolling gently into the horizon, kissed by the golden hues of the setting sun. The town itself was a mosaic of quaint cottages, each with its own unique charm, surrounded by lush gardens that bloomed in a riot of colors throughout the year. And fields of golden wheat lay the town of Harmony Creek. The fields stretched as far as the eye could see, their golden heads swaying gently in the breeze, whispering secrets of the earth. A small river meandered through the fields, its waters sparkling in the sunlight, providing a lifeline to the town and its inhabitants. Life moved at a slower pace here. The hustle and bustle of the modern world seemed a distant memory, replaced by the gentle rhythm of nature and the unhurried pace of small-town life. The townsfolk cherished their simple routines, finding joy in the everyday moments that many in the outside world had long forgotten. The air was clean, the people were friendly, and the biggest news was usually Mrs. Henderson's prize-winning apple pie at the annual county fair. The fair was a highlight of the year, a time when the entire town came together to celebrate their community. There were games, contests, and stalls selling homemade goods, but it was Mrs. Henderson's apple pie that everyone looked forward to the most. Her secret recipe had been passed down through generations, and each bite was a taste of history. Children played in the streets, their laughter echoing through the warm summer air. They chased each other through the town's narrow lanes, their faces lit up with joy and innocence. The park was a favorite gathering spot where kids could run free, climb trees, and let their imaginations soar. It was a place where childhood dreams were nurtured and friendships were forged. Harmony Creek was a place where time seemed to stand still, a tranquil haven in an ever-changing world. The town's charm lay in its ability to remain untouched by the chaos and noise of the outside world. It was a sanctuary where one could find peace and solace, a place to reconnect with nature and oneself. The townsfolk went about their routines, oblivious to the strange event that was about to unfold. They woke up with the sun, tended to their chores, and gathered in the evenings to share stories and laughter. Life was predictable, and that was the way they liked it. But change was on the horizon, and it would come in a way that none of them could have anticipated. They tended their gardens, gossiped over fences, and wished for nothing more than the simple pleasures that life had to offer. Gardening was a favorite pastime, a way to connect with the earth and find a sense of accomplishment in nurturing life. Neighbors often exchanged tips and shared the fruits of their labor, strengthening the bonds of community. But high above, in the cold vastness of space, something extraordinary had happened, something that would forever change the face of Harmony Creek. The night sky, usually a canvas of twinkling stars, held a secret that was about to be revealed. It was a secret that would challenge everything the townsfolk thought they knew about their peaceful existence, something that would forever change the face of Harmony Creek. As the townsfolk went about their daily lives, unaware of the impending change, the sky above began to shift. A strange light appeared on the horizon, growing brighter with each passing moment. It was a sign of the extraordinary event that was about to unfold. An event that would bring the world to Harmony Creek's doorstep and alter the course of its history forever. Deep within a government facility, a team of scientists monitored a network of satellites, their eyes glued to a bank of screens displaying real-time data and images from around the globe. These scientists were part of an elite group tasked with ensuring the accuracy and reliability of satellite data, which was crucial for everything from weather forecasting to national security. The room was filled with the hum of computers and the soft murmur of voices discussing the latest data streams. Each scientist was highly trained, specializing in different aspects of satellite technology and data analysis. They worked in shifts, ensuring that the data was monitored 24/7, and any anomalies were quickly identified and investigated. The atmosphere was one of intense concentration, as the scientists meticulously examined the information being relayed from the satellites orbiting high above the Earth. They were looking for anything out of the ordinary, any sign that something might be amiss. The data they were analyzing came from a variety of sources, including weather satellites, communication satellites, and even some classified military satellites. Each screen displayed a different set of data, from thermal images to radar scans, and the scientists had to be adept at interpreting all of it. They were constantly on the lookout for patterns or anomalies that could indicate a problem. Suddenly, one screen flickered and an alarm blared through the room. The sudden noise broke the concentration of the scientists, and they quickly turned their attention to the source of the alarm. The screen that had flickered was displaying satellite imagery of a small town in the Midwest. The image was clear, but there was something off about it. The scientists quickly began to analyze the data, trying to determine what had triggered the alarm. They knew that the system was designed to detect even the smallest anomalies. So, whatever had caused the alarm had to be significant. The anomaly was small, easily missed, but it was there, a discrepancy in the latest satellite imagery. The town, which had been in the same location for decades, appeared to have shifted slightly. It was a subtle change, but it was enough to trigger the alarm. The scientists zoomed in on the image, trying to get a better look at the anomaly. They compared the latest image with previous ones, and it was clear that something had changed. The town had moved. But how was that possible? Towns don't just move overnight. A tiny town, previously located 5 miles to the west, had shifted overnight. The town, known as Harmony Creek, was a small, quiet place with a population of just a few hundred people. It was the kind of town where everyone knew everyone else, and nothing much ever happened. But now it seemed that something extraordinary had occurred. The scientists were baffled. They had never seen anything like this before. How could an entire town move 5 miles overnight without anyone noticing? It was a mystery that demanded an explanation. Confusion rippled through the room as scientists scrambled to make sense of the impossible. They checked and rechecked the data, looking for any sign of a glitch or error, but the data was consistent. The town had moved. The scientists began to discuss possible explanations. Could it be a natural phenomenon, like an earthquake or a landslide? But there had been no reports of any such events in the area. Could it be a man-made event, like a massive construction project? But there was no evidence of any such activity. The more they looked, the more questions they had. Theories were tossed back and forth, calculations were checked and rechecked, but the answer remained elusive. Some scientists suggested that it could be a glitch in the satellite system, but that seemed unlikely. The system was designed to be highly reliable, and there were multiple redundancies in place to prevent such errors. Others suggested that it could be a hoax, but that also seemed unlikely. The data was too consistent, and there was no evidence of tampering. The scientists were at a loss. They had never encountered anything like this before, and they didn't know what to make of it. Had there been a glitch in the system? The scientists began to troubleshoot the equipment, looking for any sign of a malfunction. They ran diagnostics on the satellites, the ground stations, and the data processing systems. Everything checked out. There were no errors, no glitches, no signs of tampering. The data was accurate. The town had moved. The scientists were running out of ideas. They had exhausted all the usual explanations, and they were no closer to understanding what had happened. Was it an elaborate hoax? The idea seemed far-fetched, but the scientists had to consider all possibilities. They began to investigate the town itself, looking for any sign of unusual activity. They contacted local authorities, who confirmed that the town had indeed moved. The residents were just as baffled as the scientists. They had gone to bed in one location and woken up in another. There were no signs of a hoax, no evidence of tampering. The town had moved, and no one knew how or why. The more they analyzed the data, the more they realized the undeniable truth. Harmony Creek had moved. The scientists were left with more questions than answers. How could an entire town move overnight without anyone noticing? What could cause such a phenomenon? And most importantly, what did it mean for the future? The mystery of Harmony Creek was just beginning, and the scientists knew that they had a long road ahead of them as they sought to uncover the truth behind this extraordinary event. News of Harmony Creek's bizarre relocation spread like wildfire, first through hushed whispers in government corridors. The initial murmurs were filled with disbelief and confusion as officials tried to make sense of the inexplicable event. Some thought it was a hoax, a clever trick played by some tech-savvy pranksters. Others speculated about natural phenomena or even supernatural forces at play. The whispers grew louder, turning into urgent conversations behind closed doors. as the gravity of the situation began to sink in, and then the story exploded across news channels and social media platforms. News anchors, with furrowed brows and serious tones, reported the strange occurrence, while people everywhere scrolled through their smartphones, sharing and commenting on the unbelievable news. Hashtags like #Harmony Creek Mystery and #ShiftedTown began trending as the world collectively tried to piece together what had happened. The world watched in astonishment as images of the shifted town were broadcast, each pixel a testament to the impossible. Aerial views showed Harmony Creek in its new location, perfectly intact, as if it had been gently lifted and placed down by an invisible hand. The television screens flickered with scenes of the town, now a global sensation, as experts and analysts were brought in to offer their theories. Back in Harmony Creek, life continued as normal. The residents went about their daily routines, blissfully unaware of the global stir they were causing. Children played in the streets, shopkeepers greeted their regular customers, and the town's clock tower chimed every hour, marking the passage of time in a place seemingly untouched by the chaos outside. The townsfolk, cut off from the outside world due to a temporary internet outage, remained blissfully unaware of the global stir they were causing. With no access to the internet, they relied on old-fashioned methods like newspapers and word of mouth to stay informed. Little did they know that their quiet town had become the epicenter of a worldwide mystery. Little did they know that their quiet lives were about to be turned upside down. The calm before the storm was palpable, as the town's serene atmosphere belied the brewing storm of attention and scrutiny that was about to descend upon them. The tranquility of Harmony Creek was on the brink of being shattered. The first sign that something was amiss came in the form of strangers, men and women in suits, their faces etched with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, who began arriving in unmarked cars. These visitors, with their serious expressions and purposeful strides, brought with them an air of mystery and urgency. The townsfolk watched with growing unease as these outsiders began to investigate, their presence a stark contrast to the town's usual peaceful demeanor. The arrival of these strangers marked the beginning of a new chapter for Harmony Creek, one filled with questions, intrigue, and the promise of uncovering the truth behind the town's extraordinary relocation.